Good afternoon, everybody. It's Estelle, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm doing a requested video. This is not normally the type of video I do, but this was requested by a subscriber of mine who asked me to talk about my hypothyroidism and how it affects my life. So before I do that, I want to, first of all, let me say, I apologize for the lighting if you think it's a little too dark, but it's a little cloudy today. We've had rain on and off today. So I hope it's not too dark. Secondly, I hope you don't mind, but I wrote down notes. If I don't have notes, I'm going to forget and I'm going to lose my concentration. So anyway, there's that. So, and before I talk about my hypothyroidism and how it's affected me, I want to just give a little brief overview of your thyroid and the risk factors, symptoms, tests, and that you get to determine, if you have thyroid issues. And then of course I'll go into how it's affected me and etc. So first of all, what is your thyroid? Your thyroid is a small gland that's butterfly shaped that is in your neck around this area. Just like probably just right here. It's very small, but it's right here in this area right here. It produces two hormones, thyroxine, and then the second one, I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation, so please bear with me. Triiodothyronine. Okay, that's the second one. Now, your thyroid helps with metabolism. It actually affects the energy that is produced within your body. So it helps to regulate your heart rate, and it helps with it regulates and helps with metabolism. So if you're experiencing hyperthyroidism, that's when you're producing too much of these two hormones. You're going to experience a lot of other things that maybe someone like myself with hypothyroidism experiences. So with hypo, you're definitely going to have weight gain. With hyper, you may have weight loss. I can't speak on hyperthyroidism because I don't experience that. So I'm not going to really go into that that much. So when you have thyroid disease, and that's pretty much anything to do with this, that's when it's not regulated, you're going to have thyroid disease. You could experience thyroid nodules. And I think that's pretty much more for people with hyperthyroidism than with hypo. You can get Graves' disease. You can experience Hashimoto's disease, thyroiditis, inflammation of the thyroid, and you can even get thyroid cancer. Now, let's talk about the symptoms that you might experience before you're diagnosed with either hyper or hypo. So these are more, I think, geared for hypo than hyper, but these are more for hypo. So weight gain, that's a big one. Chronic fatigue, another big one. Low blood pressure, low pulse rate. I have high blood pressure. And I've had high blood pressure before I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. And I know my blood pressure in the past has been like 120, 180. Sometimes it's been like 130, 185, 180 over 86, 140 over 80. Sometimes it's even been 139 over 75 or something like that. But the last two times I've gone to the doctor, or the last several times, let me correct myself, it's been about 110 over 70. So my blood pressure is going a lot lower. I still think I need to be on blood pressure medicine. So I don't know if my blood pressure being lower is related to my thyroid or if it's because of the blood pressure medicine I'm taking. Let's see, some of the other symptoms are depression, constipation, tingling skin, muscle cramping, short-term memory loss, hair loss, hair thinning, and dry skin. Yeah, I experience all those and then some. So common risk factors for hypo and hyper are your gender. And I'm sorry, ladies, but we women, we're at greater risk, especially for hyper. Pre-existing autoimmune diseases such as celiac disease and diabetes type 1. And pregnancy, post-pregnancy, pre-pregnancy, post-pregnancy, and smoking, that will also contribute to whether thyroid disease. Now, in order to be diagnosed, you have to get blood work. And you probably, at least once in your life, maybe, or maybe you get the tests done every time you get blood work done. I don't know. But for me, every time I get blood work done, I get my thyroid levels checked. And the 3 that I get are, there's actually 4, but 5, but I get just 3. The thyroid stimulating hormone, or the TSH, and that's and I get the T4, which is the free thyroxine, and the T3, which is the free triiodothyronine. And like I said, the T3 is determining how well your thyroid is working. So it kind of determines, you know, how much of your thyroid is working, and the TSH determines how much of these hormones are being produced through your thyroid. And then the T3, that is determining your like metabolism and how much energy is being produced to help your cells and metabolism, your heart rate, that kind of thing. There are 2 others, but I'm not really going to go into those just because I've never had those done, and they pretty much determine the antibodies in your thyroid, and if your thyroid has had any trauma or damage. Not trauma, but, well, yeah, that's the same thing. And if your thyroid's been damaged. I have not had any of those. There are 2, so I've not had those, so I'm not really going to speak on that just because that's not my experience. Should you get these lab results? Well, I'm not a doctor, so I that's up to your doctor. But my firm belief is if you're having symptoms, then you should probably talk to your doctor about it and say, hey, I'm experiencing this or this. Can I get some blood work done? Hey, doc, should I check my thyroid to see if it's working properly? You know, it doesn't hurt to be proactive in your, you know, life and in your health, that kind of thing. So let me talk about myself now. Back in the mid-1990s, like 1994, 1995, I started to gain weight, and I started to become very tired. And when I mean tired, I was so tired. I would sleep sometimes 10 hours. I'd wake up tired, and I'd go to bed tired. So for about 4 or 5 months, I was getting blood work every month. Nothing showed. And my doctor said to me at the 5th month, listen, I think it's your thyroid, but I can't give you any medication for it until I actually see some kind of results that indicate it's your thyroid. And I made the mistake, and I'm going to be honest about this, I made the mistake of thinking, because before I was diagnosed, you know, like I said, they didn't know. They suspected, but unless you have proof positive, you know, they just can't say for sure. So here I am gaining weight. And when I mean I'm gaining weight, I was gaining a lot of weight. And so I said to myself, well, they can't figure out what's wrong with me. I'm gaining weight. I might as well just go ahead and eat what the heck I want, when I want, and how I want. Who cares? So I'm going to be overweight the rest of my life. So what? Hence why I am the weight that I am. And I'm not going to say what I weigh, but because it's very embarrassing. But I weigh a lot, especially for somebody with my height. I'm only 5 feet. And now that I'm in my 60s, I've probably shrunk to 4'9". Who knows? So don't make that mistake. Am I on medication? Yes, I am on medication. I take levothyroxine or Synthroid. I take 137 micrograms, and I'm probably going to have that increased because, to be honest, it's not helping. So what is my daily life like? Well, I'm always tired, even being on the thyroid medication. I go to bed tired, I wake up tired. I'm tired in my day. I do take a B12 vitamin, which helps a little bit, but it doesn't help me every day, which is kind of disappointing because I really thought that it would, you know, but it doesn't help me every day. I take my thyroid medication 30 minutes before I eat because this way it works better. You're always supposed to take it on an empty stomach. So I'm constantly fatigued, which is pretty bad. I can't say enough how tired I am. I really can't. And I can't describe how it feels to be this tired every single day. And you're on medication to help you, and it doesn't do anything for you. I thought when I was going to be put on this medication, I thought, boom, 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 I'm going to lose a weight, I'm going to be good. But no, no. My hair is thin or thinning. I lose a lot of hair every day. I don't know if you can tell, you probably can from my videos, but you can see the top of my head, you know, when I'm looking at you or in my videos. I'm pretty sure you can tell. My hair is very damaged and dry. And I use a shampoo for damaged hair, and it does nothing for me. Does absolutely nothing. I have this hand always tingles. I have Charlie horses all the time. I have to take magnesium every night. Otherwise, I'll have Charlie horses. And let me tell you something, sometimes they're very, very painful. 2 weeks ago, I was driving home, and I take my magnesium every night. 2 weeks ago, I was driving home from work, and I started to get a Charlie horse on my left foot. And let me tell you something, I thought I was going to have to pull over somewhere and figure it out because it was so painful. And normally when I get a Charlie horse, like in my foot or even in my leg, I was told to get up, stand on it, and it'll go away, which it usually does. And I don't get too many of them, but when I do, they are very, very painful, very extremely painful. I have dry skin. I'm sometimes constipated. And I'm very sensitive to cold. When I'm at work, let me tell you something, my job, that place, they have the air conditioner on, I don't know what temperature, but it's always cold in there. I have to wear, I usually have a blanket over me that they gave me. And I'm freezing all the time. I don't know if it's related to my thyroid issues, but I have a sensitivity to light as well. Either light like a lamp or even headlights. That's why I don't drive that much at night anymore. because I don't like, it's blurry, and that could be just my eyes, my eyesight itself. But what else? And I think that's it. But I'm sure I've forgotten something. And I was diagnosed with it before I became a diabetic. So I don't know if I had an underdeveloped diabetic issue that I was not aware of. Because, you know, my mother and my brother were diabetics. I didn't become a diabetic until I was a pre-diabetic. I want to say 2009, 10, somewhere around there. And then, of course, I became a full-fledged diabetic in a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, right before it was before COVID. Yes, it was before COVID. Right before COVID, as a matter of fact. No, it was during COVID. It was after COVID, sorry. Because I remember my cousin had COVID. And I thought I had COVID because she had come to see us 2 weeks before she got diagnosed and 2 weeks before I got sick. And then it turned into, you know, my sugars went crazy. But I think the big thing for me with dealing with the thyroid, the other thing that I have, which I keep forgetting to discuss with my doctor, sorry, I got a message on my phone there, is I constantly feel like I have a sore throat. And I don't know if that's anything to do with my thyroid, if it's to do with something else. I have an appointment to see my doctor June 19th, so I'm going to talk to her about that. I don't feel like my glands are swollen, but then again, I don't know what, you know, I don't feel like I'm pressing. But anyway, so I have to talk to her about that. I have not had blood work in a while. I'm actually waiting for my insurance to kick in. I have to go back and see my my diabetes doctor, and I usually get blood work then. But other than the fatigue, and the really big things for me is the fatigue, my hair thinning and hair loss. I also noticed that my scalp on my head is very dry. I don't know if that's related to that or if it's related to my diabetes. My dry skin, and of course the muscle cramping and dealing with the cold. I also do say that I do experience a little bit of short-term memory loss. I'll be talking about something and I'll be like, and then a couple of days later, I'll be like, geez, what was I thinking about the other day? I remember I have to do something, or I wrote, I got to remember I got to buy something at the store and I can't remember what it is. And then 3 days later, I'll remember what it is. And then I'll be like, oh, and then I'll keep forgetting to get it. So I think those are the big things for me. And of course, the weight gain. But you have to do what you have to do. You go on and you live your life, and I'll have this for the rest of my life. So there is no getting around it. And like I said, you just have to deal with it and live your life the best that you can. Is it annoying? Yes, it's very annoying. Because one day I would just like to wake up and feel refreshed and feel like I've slept well, you know? And I probably have. It's just because of this. I don't feel like I slept. And so I'm, like I said, I'm always exhausted. But I guess there's worse things in life to deal with, and you just have to, you know, go with the flow. So anyway, I hope that answered any questions, concerns you might have. Please comment down below. I would like to hear from you. And, excuse me. And I appreciate you all. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. This video is a lot longer than I had anticipated it to be, so I hope that you've made it to the end. If you have, comment down below, I made it to the end, or give a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.